Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, we've got another investigation on our hands, and boy oh boy do I love these videos. Although, I gotta preface this video by saying, I'm not here to make any accusations of wrongdoing or claim anything definitively. No, this is just simply curiosity and the pursuit of truth. Everything I'm saying here is for investigative purposes only. It's mere analysis and speculation. And so now for the context. Of course, we know Eric Swalwell is in some deep shit. He's been accused by a plethora of former staffers of intimidation, manipulation, abuse, unwanted sexual advances, and trust me, it gets a whole lot worse. He's officially resigned from the governor's race in California, and to be honest at this point, I don't think he's going to do so willingly, but he's most likely going to be forced to resign from his position in the House. But this video is actually not about Eric Swalwell, but rather his little buddy, his little partner in crime, little 5-foot Ruben Gallego, another fake tough guy just like Eric Swalwell, basically a mirror image in terms of the tactics that he deploys. He's one of those tough-talking Democrats who's always pushing the most extreme and Democrat talking points and most ridiculous of unhinged hoaxes. Well, as is public knowledge, Ruben Gallego is Eric Swalwell's best friend, self-admitted. They spent a whole lot of time together. Their careers have been intertwined since the late 2010s when Eric Swalwell was launching his presidential bid. Back in 2019, Ruben Gallego was his key team member. And now some people are suggesting that the man in the video, in the latest improper, clearly adulterous video of Eric Swalwell, well, the second man, which you don't see his face, people are speculating that it might actually be Ruben Gallego. Things are now getting real interesting, as it's possible that, this is a two birds with one stone kind of situation. Ruben Gallego is now facing the pressure. Let me show you guys all the details, and let's do, a little bit of an anatomy analysis here. As we've done many times on the channel before, the investigation begins now. So let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so obviously we know the video in question. If you haven't seen it, you're living under a rock. Can I play it? Absolutely not. I mean, maybe I can, highly censored, but basically it's Eric Swalwell and another man in what appears to be a hotel room with an escort, and this comes now on top of all the other allegations and accusations that Eric Swalwell is facing. And so, of course, we know this video is bad for Eric Swalwell. He initially denied any claims. It was all fake news. It was all a vast right-wing conspiracy theory. Then this video drops, and instantly he resigns from the race. But now the focus is on this second character. Who is said second character? Well, obviously, I think it makes sense that most people's brains instantly go to Ruben Gallego. Again, not saying that it is definitively him, but it makes sense why people would assume that, considering they're like best friends. They're constantly traveling together and doing things together. And so now the media is swamping Ruben Gallego, asking him, is this you? And well, here's the response.
So I want to make a couple of things very clear. Eric Swalwell lied to all of us. He lied to the most powerful people in this country, and they trusted him. Our family's friendship together with him clouded my judgment. I was not sitting next to him. I was not in the room. I was nowhere. I don't even know where it happened. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. Chris LaCivita and a bunch of other right-wing political operatives are pushing this narrative that somehow I was in that room with Eric Swalwell, and that is an absolute lie. I don't know what's going on with his family, but it's definitely a horrible situation for family. They're using that as a cover to attack me right now because they can't do it. They couldn't take back 2024 because they ran a horrible race.
Not on trips, on vacations, officially, unofficially. You've gone out, presumably with the congressman. You've never even witnessed him, I don't know, engaging in an affair.
No.
Would you release any text messages you had with Eric Swalwell to prove your innocence here? Anybody
that asks, or any legal proceedings that need it, will get whatever they want, without a doubt.
You'll release all your documents?
Yeah, any legal proceedings, the ethics interviews, or if there's a subpoenas or anything else like that, legal proceedings, anything else. If you get sued, we'll release everything without.
Ruben, of course, denies, but I have to admit, he seems quite nervous, and some of his explanations, just in terms of his knowledge of what Eric Swalwell was up to, they're not exactly that convincing.
A lot of people say to this man, it seems impossible that they didn't have some sense of what was going on. I think there are a lot of people Congressman Swalwell saying a lot of these things a lot of time.
I mean, and the man lived a double life, and for many, more than 20 congressmen, people that served them for a long time, we had no clue. We had no clue. And look, unlike whatever's happening with Jeffrey Epstein, because as soon as we knew, we all asked for accountability, and we'll continue to ask for accountability. And, the victims deserve justice. He literally led a double life and tricked many of us into he was something he was not.
He claims that he has absolutely no idea and that Eric Swalwell lied to him and was living a double life. Now, I'd say if that's your best friend and that's a person that you're constantly traveling with, and Eric Swalwell was engaging in those behaviors quite aggressively, I think it would be hard not to know what was going on, at least to a certain extent, or not to have basic suspicions. And so I'm not exactly convinced by the explanation here, but I can't necessarily prove otherwise. So, I'm not going to, again, make any declarative statements. But one thing's for sure, this guy appears frantic. He's stumbling, he's fumbling, he seems extremely nervous. His explanations are shoddy at best. And then comes, of course, the question, is it him in the video? This is what many people are suggesting. And while I'm not convinced that it is, well, there certainly are some convincing similarities. First of all, it does appear as though the person in that shot is a short, stocky man with brown hair, facial hair. So right off the bat, there are some similarities. But now here's where things get really interesting. People found this photo right here from one of Ruben Gallego's campaign events, and we have a similar camera angle from the back end here, and I gotta tell ya, it certainly seems kind of close. Both individuals seem to have very strong brow lines. I will admit there is a little bit of difference, but that could be, of course, based on the angle. It's not the exact same angle. Then a lot of people are noticing similarities in terms of the layering of the hair at the back there. There seems to be a rather distinct kind of patchiness to it. If we put up the two photos side by side, it seems rather similar. Now, some people are pointing out that, well, his beard seems a little too dark and Ruben Gallego has a lot of white hair in his beard. But you'll notice even in the other photo, from that angle, the beard does look darker. And considering the dark lighting in the hotel room, it could be a possible explanation. Obviously, it's a different haircut. It's hard to say 100%, but I think it's also kind of hard to deny that there aren't any similarities, especially once you start really looking into the anatomy. Again, we see some pretty striking similarities. The one thing that sticks out to me is the anti-helix. Maybe I could get a graphic here to show you guys exactly what that is. That's that kind of protruding cartilage structure in the inside of the ear. Well, you'll notice in the video, it appears as though this person's anti-helix is very strongly protruding outside of the ear. It's very pronounced. The anti-helix in this case seems to push past the helix of the ear, which is the outer perimeter of cartilage. Then if we contrast that with the latest video of Ruben Gallego responding to the allegations, you'll notice he's got a very, very strong anti-helix. I mean, it's very pronounced. I'm feeling and looking at my ear right now in the mirror, and mine's not like that at all. That seems like a very distinct anatomical identifier. Now, is it absolute proof? I don't think so. We would have to see his ear from different angles, specifically that same position, that same back angle, to see whether or not his anti-helix protrudes to that extent. But very clearly, I think undeniably so, there are some very distinct similarities. Again, avoiding getting myself in legal trouble here, I'm not going to make any definitive statements, but I will say I understand why people are suspicious. It obviously makes sense. And I think further investigation is required here. I guess we'll have to see where the facts lead us, but there certainly is one big, massive red flag. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.